Okay, so our next performer is Mike Scott. Mike is originally from Cleveland, Ohio. You don't hear many guys fishing in Alaska from Cleveland, but he spent a lot of time in down east Maine fishing lobster in his early 20s. Is that right? Okay. Before going to southeast Alaska, he now lives in Port Townsend, Washington, building boats and looks forward to Alaska summers, especially at this time of year. So let's please welcome Mike Scott. Yeah, Port Townsend, you got it.
Yeah, man. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out, and I'll just get kind of right into it. The first poem I've got for you guys is called Heavy Seas. Beyond our bedroom walls, the earth surrounds us. It teaches us what fear means, what color smells like, and what it means to be alone. Mountains claw their way to the heavens, promising barren peaks, hollow tombs. Forests are envelopes of imagination, impossibly symbiotic, unquestionably ancient. Desert allows our species to think with immediacy and time to crawl and wither. But the sea gives us the entire arc of the human spirit. It is our greatest fear, and yet an ally. Being on the water is to see and to be invisible. Traveling unthinkable distances and yet never moving an inch. While other landscapes have been discovered, unpacked scientifically, the ocean still remains a secret. True humility is found in the middle of the ocean. Around you only water, the horizon. The black water moving in silence, unfamiliar with you, indifferent. Those that live below the surface by the billions must smile at the thought of humans. Us mere mortals, landbound, can only guess at the million-year-old patterns. The Mesozoic relics still live in silence while we do our best to try and read their ways, their ancient genetics. So we set our nets, drop our pots, and hope. We leave our land-bound nature and become closer to those beneath the surface, seeking their patterns and their knowledge to know them. To trust our livelihoods on these presumptions is bold, but the mystery and passion drives us. On the days we pull them up, nets full, bait taken, there's a recognition between us and them, an atavistic respect for the other. Their eyes tell stories of past worlds. Before our species knew much of anything, they had their ways pretty well sorted. Their eyes look at you like a stranger in a city. Something that says, "Do I know you?" You say, "Yeah, we've met before." Thank you. Thank you. So I'd like to take a second to give it up for the two guys that came right before me and the folks that came before that as well, Ray and Will, especially. Well done. And this next poem is called Radio. It's sort of about my time in fishing lobster in Maine, a place really close to my heart. So it goes like this. The steady hum of a diesel engine, like an asthmatic industrial purr. The honey morning light filling and spilling over the cups of the tops of the ocean. Static coming from the radio. Disjointed words and then, "Good morning, dear. Andy, are you on here?" "Yep, Rose. Go ahead," said the man. I picked through my traps, measured my legal lobsters, rebaited the traps, and we were off. "Yep, gonna need about 6 hard ones for Walter and Tammy. You got that?" "Yeah." There was a quaver in both of their voices. Over 170 years between the two. They were married in 1947. The father of the bride played the accordion as they walked down the aisle. This box bubbling with magnetic waves is the joining fabric of the lobster community. A radio lies aboard every boat, most kitchens, and some living rooms in down East Maine. It's still a gathering place in the home. The most important news, after all, is that of the lobster, that of the family, the hearth. And when things go wrong on the water, your heart leaps. It takes courage to call for help, and there's never a boat too far to reach. Everyone listens with intent. And though life and nature of this work thrive on independence, grit, tenacity, all are equal on the platform of the crackling and hum. A podium for the troubled and a respite for the weary and the frustrated. The solace of community. Amos Hutchinson's boat, Hazel Lee, was found 4 nautical miles south-southeast of Sheep's Ledges 2 years ago, steadily making circles. Throttle on full go. No souls on board. I saw him, his wife, their twin daughters, at the 4th of July parade months before. The summer sun glared and glinted off his daughter Hazel's cornflower hair. She, too shy to say hello, buried her head in her dad's ruddy shoulder, squirming. Lee, her twin, eyes never leaving her mom, always up, looking. He clapped me on the shoulder, "How's it going, bud?" and cooed to his small yearling. They walked in the opposite direction, gliding past me with lunch in mind. Slack rope from a pair of traps caught his boot. Hazel Lee has an open stern so they can easily slide into the water. And though he chose to fish alone, the community stands steadfast. To the family, to the girl with cornflower hair, forever. We all must be cautious. Take every popping, staticky preamble as our own truth, as our code, written, of course, by us. I'm thinking about the Hazel Lee doing donuts while measuring lobsters and bracing myself against the bulwarks. An extra muscle group is keeping my boots on the deck. Just then, garbled voices start over the radio with a local radio station in the background playing some not-so-great music. Well, don't a cold beer on a hot summer morning taste just like a mother? My captain, a grade, respected sage of these waters, cracks a smile. I release the tension in my muscles leaning against the bulwarks and rock back in laughter. Skipper follows suit. Old Skip starts a wide turn, and we're getting ready to set this pair of pots. With a wry smile, still a little laughter beneath the diesel roar, he makes a motion with his crooked right pointed finger, not even looking back at me, from his shoulder to the sea. Let her go. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to point out real quick that my mom flew here from Cleveland, Ohio. And she's way in the back there. She's a little short, but just want us to give a quick shout out. There she is. So thanks to all the moms out there. Damn it. And this next one is a new one. It's called The Good Life. I'll let you guys know, but I'll need everyone with a drink to be ready towards the end of the poem there, and I'm going to do that myself here. Hold on. All right, it goes like this. A heavy autumn mist sat gently above the water, climbing as it reached the shore, settling into the evergreen canopy. Still before dawn, I tugged the lines on the back deck of the seiner, check for tightness, retie the knots. In the galley, the coffee pot burbles, a respite for the sleepy. And just then, in a jolt, skiff man Matt comes flying down the ladder. Hey, Cookie, that coffee ready? We're going to whack 'em and stack 'em today, boys and girls. Hooey! Yeah! Sprung awake, not everyone being a morning person. Annoyed, the two remaining crew drag themselves to the coffee pot. Matt makes his way back up the ladder and fish scales in your undies tonight, folks. Hooey! Spilling all the while and climbing the ladder up to the wheelhouse and out of sight. The routine of the work with me and my other less rambunctious crewmates got to be pretty fast. Knots tied, on to the next task. Make a mistake, could be your last. Thumbs up, let me do it. And a lot of this motion throughout the day. Let her go! No whistling! Vision in action, they say. There are times in your life when you plan, think, weigh your options, make a PowerPoint, and decide. Right? Then there are times that you act. When gear is coming on board and you feel the boat being pulled down into the sea, the weight in the net too much for the power block, it's like standing on a mountainside when the rocks give way beneath you. Your heart drops to the bottom of your boots and you taste the sea on your tongue. The fight is on. Skipper battles the school with the power block, and this is the closest I will ever get to combat. Hydraulic squeals replace the gunfire, but there's no substitute for that deafening adrenaline. So often we fight like this for scant returns, but that's not today. Before me was an enormous trough of salmon, entire back deck loaded to the rails, and waiting for someone to pull the plug and send him down the drain for the long, cold sleep. So I jumped off the pile and started trudging through the trough. I fell to my knees and started groping for the hatch. Hands on the aluminum deck, I needed more purchase. I was going under. I buried my head in the trough, closed my mouth, and became part of the school of chum that was so enclosed on the back deck. At last I hit the hatch, grabbed with all I had, and pulled the plug. The fish around me in the trough started to circle the drain and slide into the hole. I emerged to my feet and opened my eyes to a surprise. It was skiff man Matt diving at me midair, determined to celebrate. He tackled me into the trough. Hell yeah, buddy! What'd I tell you? Whack and stack! He threw a series of punches into my midsection. I loved it. The other two crew members, laughing now, dove off the net pile on top of the trough. Skip looked on, climbing the ladder, lit a cigarette, and looked back and said, "Welcome to the good life, boys and girls. You earned it." The rest of the day was light, but nobody cared. We were all in a fishy afterglow. After a circus at the locks, we make it back to the slip. The terminal is quiet, guy lines clanging in the wind. Far-off buoys sound off steadily, the metronomes of the waterways. And there's a special brand of silence the instant after an engine is shut down to end a long day. A half second of something deeper than silence, a green flash of peace. Skip and Skiffman Matt departed, go home to the kids. Have at least two for me in there, and don't you go bragging now. That's not who we are. Skip nods, waves. Hell of a day, people. Hell of a day. Me and the two crew who jumped into the trough, we head out to the bars. We meet up with friends from other boats, other slimy, lying, happy fishing folk. Taking charge as we do, we rearrange the tables to seat about 24. Screeching wood on concrete floors, stale beer, and pinball machines filled the air. In talking about the day's catch, we're all mum. Not bad, we say. Not as hot as a few weeks ago. A couple decent sets. Nothing special. My most convincing shrug. Yeah, well, said a friend, that's the way it goes when you wear the rubber clothes. We agree. We start to raise our glasses to salute each other in the day. Hey, hang on. Is that a fish scale? That's like a bunch of fish scales right in your beard. What is everyone's cranes their neck at me, nice and slow. My crewmate laughs. Oh yeah, that was from when you had your head buried and you were looking in for the hatch on that 25,000-pound set. I look at her with brief horror and start to laugh, then desperately. She catches herself and joins in my laughter, everyone now sharing in the joke. That were true, we'd be buying everybody drinks tonight. And she found my eyes, and I shake my head and smile. The table full of fishermen raise their glasses, and they cheers to the good life. The good life. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have fun this weekend.